thing we have to fear is
in war,
fear itself.
there is no substitute for victory.
Let us never negotiate out of fear.
We stand undivided, forever united, fighting hand in hand for the liberty we've earned, for glory and honor, for our sons and daughters, ever mindful of the lessons we've learned. Let the torch of freedom burn.
You found your way to the intersection of faith and politics. This is WallBuilders Live with David Barton and Rick Green. Thank you so much for joining us today on Veterans Day. Very special day here at WallBuilders Live. You know, throughout the year, we honor our veterans, and I think one of our greatest privileges here is getting to interview so many of these great men and women that have sacrificed so much for us to be free. I especially enjoy interviewing those World War II veterans. Just so many great programs we've had the chance to do here on WallBuilders Live. But today, for Veterans Day, we wanted to hear from several of these folks that we've had the chance to interview over the years. And yesterday we did some of that, and you can actually go to our website right now at wallbuilderslive.com and enjoy yesterday's program as well by clicking on the archive section there and sharing that with your friends and family. Today on Veterans Day, we're going to have several more with us. General Bob Dees will be with us. Colonel Brian Birdwell. Cheryl Popp's going to be with us talking about the honor flights, and Congressman Sam Johnson. So many that have sacrificed for our freedom. Also, Kevin Boldt will be with us to share what he's doing for veterans. Started paying for World War II veteran luncheons once a month, and it's grown from 15 of them to 50, something you can do right there in your community as well. So a lot of special guests for us today. We're going to start off with General Bob Dees. He's a frequent guest here on WallBuilders Live. We appreciate so much his commentary on so many different issues out there. Here's General Bob Dees.
Hello, this is Major General retired Bob Dees, and 31-year Army veteran, privileged to serve with our troops and their families, and follow-on careers in business and nonprofit. And now I'm the Associate Vice President for Liberty University. And we have some great programs at Liberty, 30,000 military students, military resilience courses. We have the Institute for Military Resilience that looks at academic and outreach and research programs relevant to our military and their families. So we love the military. I've, over the last 3 years, written 3 books, and these are Resilient Warriors, Resilient Leaders, Resilient Nations. Perhaps some of our listeners have seen that. The one just hitting the street is Resilient Nations, and it's for such a time as this in our country, pre-congressional elections and pre-presidential elections. We give a mandate for we the people, we the statesmen, and we the church. And you can see those products at resiliencetrilogy.com, resiliencetrilogy.com. But now the word of the day is we love our veterans. Where would we be without them? You know, you talk to the veterans, if you ask about 6th June 1944, you'd say, where would we be without them? Maybe it was too windy, too wet. And what if our veterans had just said, oh, it's rainy, it's cold today? But the reality is that over the course of our nation's history, whether it be Normandy or Iwo Jima, Valley Forge, you name it, our veterans have always been there. So we don't have to ask the question, where would we be without them, because they've always been there, along with their families and support. And we are the land of the free and the home of the brave because of our great veterans. So we honor you today. I would address a couple of things. First, to our citizens of America on Veterans Day, I challenge you to render honor to whom honor is due. Wrap your arms around veterans in every way possible. That's the beginning. And then continue that journey of honoring veterans by recognizing their value. Employ them, give them jobs, particularly these young vets that are coming out and need jobs. Recognize their life experiences as a way to mentor others. Recognize that the veterans of our country are the golden thread in the fabric of America. The veterans of our country are not only important practically, but they're important symbolically for our nation. We need our veterans. We need our history. We don't need for people to change our history. Our veterans have made history. They know it. They've lived it. and we should honor them for that. So now a word to our veterans. You've overheard what I'm saying to the citizens around you. We do honor you. You are the golden thread. You're an important national symbol. And I would say whether you're a young Afghanistan or Iraq veteran, maybe 25 years old, male, female, maybe a wounded warrior, or maybe you're 85 years old, I would challenge everyone that has worn the uniform of our nation to stand tall. You still have a purpose. You still have a mission, and your mission is to walk proudly as a veteran of the United States of America. You served a high and noble purpose, and you still serve a high and noble purpose. You are a national treasure, and we need you veterans more than ever before. Now, there's a lot of great organizations out there to help you. Certainly the citizens of America, the churches of America, the communities of America, a lot of good people out there reaching out. And so I challenge the veterans, resist this thing of isolation, and you, as they reach out to you, reach out your hand as well and link arms. And then finally this morning, I was with a young veteran. She's attending Liberty University. In fact, has taken some of the military resilience courses. She has TBI, traumatic brain injury from an IED that went off. She's on the cane. She's slowly healing from her injuries and as a military policeman, and yet I was so inspired by her journey because she's pressing on. She's pressing on the new mission, which is to heal herself, to be patient with that process, and to heal properly. And then as she heals, the reality is that soon she will be helping others heal, as it says in Corinthians, comforting others with that which she has been comforted. And then finally, I know that she's going to be part of this fabric of America. She's going to be one of the very ones in the future to guard America, to preserve that sacred trust for generations to come. So God bless the citizens of America. It's time for you to stand up to be counted. If not now, then when? If not you, then who? And God bless the veterans of America on this very special day. Where would we be without you? Gratefully, we don't have to ask. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.
It's Veterans Day. Today's a special program where we're bringing you several veterans and folks that do great things for veterans. Also did the same thing yesterday, so be sure and check out that program on the archive section at WallBuildersLive.com. Last segment, we had General Bob Dees with us. Appreciate his time once again coming on WallBuilders Live. Now we're going to have Colonel Brian Birdwell, actually Senator Brian Birdwell now. He serves in the Texas Senate. Just an amazing, amazing man, a great friend, and someone that I love getting my boys around as a role model. We were honored to have Senator Birdwell actually go out to D.C. with us for one of our episodes on Red, White, Blue, and Green, and he actually took us around Arlington Cemetery, and just a phenomenal day there for our family with Colonel Birdwell. And we appreciate him coming on today to help us in honoring those veterans that serve for us. Here's Senator Brian Birdwell.
Hi, I'm Texas State Senator Brian Birdwell. I'm a military veteran of the United States Army. I served from 1984 to 2004. Very much enjoyed my time in service. The places that I've served are very numerous in the Far East, in Korea, in Japan, in Europe, in Germany, and then in the first Gulf War, 1991, we deployed out of 7th Corps in Europe to go be a part of the first Gulf War Desert Shield, Desert Storm operation. I've served in the United States in a number of places, the state of Kansas, and then Washington State at Fort Lewis, Washington, and then completed my career from 2000 to 2004 at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. What I'm doing now is, having retired in 2004, a couple of things. My wife, Mel, and I established a 501c3 nonprofit called Face the Fire Ministries to assist critical burn survivors and wounded servicemen and women, which we've been doing now for nearly 10 years. And then of late, in 2010, I decided to run for public office and began serving as a state senator here in the great state of Texas, and enjoying my time of service in that capacity. I chose to join the military for probably a number of reasons, but I think the most was the formative years that my parents, the military was always looked at as a great cultural place, a place of integrity and honor, a way to serve. And it was it was very revered and still is. But my father came out of the World War II generation, and so there was a great reverence to those that had served in the military, so I wanted to be a part of that culture. It's very important to honor our veterans for a number of reasons. One, because of the service and sacrifice, and whether it was service during peacetime or service during wartime, it isn't whether you got a Purple Heart or not, or that you got a high-level medal. It's that you were willing to earn one. The person that puts on the uniform of their country that's during peacetime and then finds themselves in an administrative chair working personnel and records, even if they never get deployed overseas, never find themselves in an operational environment, and never find themselves in supporting combat operations, that doesn't matter. The fact that they put on the uniform and were prepared to do so is what matters. And the other reason to honor is because so many of the spouses and family members pay a price but are never in uniform. Whether it's my wife Mel, my son Matt, so many other spouses and children that grew up with parents in the military, they pay a heavy price, whether it's the amount of moves, the times that you move and all the different places. You don't get to stay in one place for very long and set down roots in a particular area. The separation from family that comes, those are things that those family members that weren't in uniform pay a price for as well. And so it's always important that we honor those veterans, because while the Lord gave us those freedoms, it's our military that guarantees them and keeps them. While serving at the Pentagon, arriving there in the summer of 2000, I was at the Pentagon during the attack of September 11th and found myself very seriously burned. I was burned over 60% of my body. The Lord spared my life in the Pentagon that day, and it brought me closer to the aspects of what our wounded servicemen and women deal with. I spent several months in the hospital, and my total medical recovery took 4 years. And so from that perspective of the seriousness of the wounds received, the length of time it takes to recover, feeling in some ways a prisoner to your body, both when in the hospital and in recuperation after, those are some of the many challenges that our men and women in uniform have gone through. And so, it's not often that anybody thinks they're going to the Pentagon to earn a Purple Heart, but it happened that day, and by the Lord's grace, it allowed me to continue to do other things in service. And ultimately, why Mel and I started Face the Fire Ministries was a way to say thank you to those that served in the post-9/11 time frame and encourage those that have been along the same road that we walked in being critically burned on September 11th. And those roads that we worked as a wounded serviceman, those are some hard years. So similar to the cancer survivor coming alongside the current cancer patient, we did the same thing with wounded servicemen and women and those that have been critically burned. And so that was our way of not only saying thank you, but assisting and encouraging those that were walking the path that we had walked previously as well. So let me say thank you to all our veterans of all the various generations, the families of veterans, both spouses and children, for the price that you paid to keep this nation free. Thank you for your service.
Not only are we honoring our veterans with the interviews today and yesterday, we want to encourage you to do the same thing. Look for ways to serve those who have served our nation and made it possible for us to be free. One of the great ways that happens is with the honor flights and giving these veterans an opportunity to go to D.C. and see the memorials there. Cheryl Popp is with us to share how that can be done. Here's Cheryl Popp.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Popp, and I'm the director of Honor Flight Tri-State. We're in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area. We take World War II and Korean veterans to see their memorials in Washington, D.C. on an all-expense-free trip to see all the memorials in Washington, D.C. We take a charter flight out of Greater Cincinnati Airport, and we are met by 3 tour buses by the Reagan Airport in Washington, and we take them to see all of the memorials, Iwo Jima, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and all of the other war memorials. Right now, we do have a waiting list for veterans, but World War II veterans move to the top of the list immediately, and you can find out how to apply by going to our website, which is www.honorflighttristate.org. People that go with the veterans are called guardians, and each veteran has a guardian, either a family member or a solo guardian, which is someone that's interested in helping us with the vets. And if you'd like to help, and you're in the local area, the Welcome Home celebration is the night of every flight, and those flight dates are also on our website. And then we will start again in April to fly. We have 5 flights planned for next year, and the flight comes back about 10:15. We have a huge welcome home rally for the vets, cheering them on and kind of putting the icing on the cake of the day that they've had of honor and respect and the parade that they never had when they came back from the war. We got started in 2005 as one of the local hubs. The Honor Flight Network is nationwide. There's 134 hubs nationwide, and that information would be available on honorflight.org. That would be the national website where you could catch up and see if there was a local hub in your area. We do have a waiting list for guardians right now, but if you would like to apply, the application is on the first page of the website. The Honor Flight Network has taken over 118,000 veterans to see their memorials in Washington. Each veteran goes for free, and all the money is raised by the local hub.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. Since the Ten Commandments have formed the basis of civil law in the Western world for over 2,000 years, an individual is more likely to find a copy of them in a government building rather than a religious one. Yet amazingly, numerous rulings over recent years now make it unconstitutional to display the commandments in many public arenas. Consider what Founding Father John Adams said about this. He declared, "The moment the idea is admitted into society that property is not as sacred as the laws of God, anarchy and tyranny commence. If thou shalt not covet and thou shalt not steal were not commandments of heaven, they must be made inviolable precepts in every society before it can be civilized or made free." John Adams believed that no society could remain civilized if separated from the Ten Commandments.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact WallBuilders at 1-800-8-REBUILD.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back to WallBuilders Live. Thanks for staying with us. I am so excited about the next person you're going to hear from. We all have heroes that we look up to. Well, Congressman Sam Johnson is one of David Barton's favorite heroes and one of my favorite heroes as well. Just an amazing man with an amazing story. Someone that has served our nation so honorably, the time he spent in a POW camp, the sacrifices that he made, and then even today, as he serves in Congress, the service he did in the Texas legislature. I mean, he's just legendary. The things that he's done, the stories. I encourage you to get his book. I just can't tell you enough about Congressman Sam Johnson. We love him, literally love him, and just appreciate him so much. And he's gonna share with us a little bit here. But I encourage you to dig a little bit deeper by reading Captive Warriors. That's his story as a Vietnam POW, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. You're gonna enjoy this. Here's Congressman Sam Johnson.
Well, like many Texans, I grew up with the love of God, country, and the great state of Texas. I joined ROTC in high school and college, and from the first time I was in a plane, I was hooked. I proudly served in the United States Air Force for 29 years. During that time, I fought in the Korean War and the Vietnam War, and as you may know, I also spent nearly 7 of those years in the infamous Hanoi Hilton. While my POW buddies and I were held and tortured in that hell on earth, we decided if we ever got out of that place, we would stop griping about the government's problems and start doing something to make things better. There were 11 members of our Alcatraz gang, and when we did get home, we were true to our word. Howie Rutledge moved to Oklahoma and entered the political arena. Bob Shoemaker served at the United States Pentagon, and Jeremiah Denton, who passed away just a few months ago, served as a United States Senator from Alabama. Like my friends, I also am proud to continue protecting the American way of life we all hold so dear, by currently serving in the United States House of Representatives. I'd like to thank all of our servicemen and women, past and present, for their bravery, their sacrifice, their commitment to our great nation, and the freedom it represents. I also want to thank the families of our troops and veterans for their strength and courage. My prayers go out to all our current POWs and our missing, that they may be returned home safely and soon. As President Reagan said, quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction, and it's never free." God bless our veterans, and may God continue to bless America.
Kevin Boldt is our next guest. Here's a guy that knows how to honor veterans simply by buying their lunch, just thanking them for their service. He started doing it once a month with just about 15 or so vets. Now it's up to 50. You can do the same thing in your community. It's a great way to honor those who sacrifice so much. Here's Kevin Boldt.
Hello, my name is Kevin Boldt, and I live in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm 55 years old, and I have a passion for history, and especially for World War II veterans. Last May, 6 months ago, I was thinking about wanting to go out and have lunch with some veterans. I thought maybe there was a group of veterans that maybe they met for breakfast or lunch, a small group, and maybe just go out and meet with them, hang out with them, and talk to them about the war, and maybe they could share some of their experiences. Well, I started looking around, and I couldn't find a group, and I just didn't know anybody. So I thought, I just need to start a group, and this was in May 2014. So I knew just a few veterans, 5 or 6 veterans, and I talked to them, and they said, "Oh yes, we would like to do this." And I said, "Okay, invite some veterans that maybe you know." So in June 2014, on the last Friday of the month, we met, and our first meeting was at Golden Corral, and actually had names of 15 veterans. So I invited them to come, and I wasn't sure if they would come or not, but they all came. All 15 came, and we had a good lunch. So I told them, I'll say, "Okay, you want to do this again?" They said, "Yes, let's do this again." I said, "Okay, let's meet the last Friday of every month, and we'll meet right here. If you know of any other veterans, you call them or give me their name, and I'll call them, and I'll invite them. And lunch is free for the veterans. I will personally buy you lunch, because I will be honored and humbled to do that." So we went from 15 in June to 24 veterans in July, and then we kind of outgrew that room. So then we went to Spring Creek Barbecue in August and September. So 15 June, 24 July, we had 35 in August, we had 40 in September, and then October 31st, we had 50 veterans. And those were the 50 veterans that were actually able to come to lunch that day. I had another 5 that said they were going to come, but they weren't able to make it that day because of some health issues, and I have maybe 10 to 12 other ones that are actually on my list, and they're not always able to come. So I'm really grateful to God. I feel it's just such a blessing that just in the last 5-6 months, I've made all these new friendships with veterans, and I'm just, by faith, I'm going to continue to do this. We actually have a new meeting room as of last week when we met. We have a really nice banquet room that we meet in now, plenty of room to grow and to visit, and we had display tables of World War II artifacts, and so it was a really great meeting. And in this group, we have every kind of veteran you can imagine, all different branches of service. We have some that were like in a Japanese prison camp. We have B-17 pilots, B-24 pilots. We have men that were shot down in the B-17. We have one man that was on the Bataan Death March. We have men that were in the Battle of the Bulge, a man that was wounded in the Battle of the Bulge, and he actually had 4 different wounds when he was wounded. I have another man that has like 3 Purple Hearts. I mean, if you want to come and meet World War II veterans and be part of history and to honor them and to appreciate them, you're welcome to come. If you are a World War II veteran and you're interested in coming, or if you know a veteran, please contact me, okay? Again, my name's Kevin Boldt, but if you will call WallBuilders Live, this radio program, you can get in contact with them and they can put you in touch with me.
radio@wallbuilders.com. That's radio@wallbuilders.com. We are out of time for today. What a special day. So many great guests and great commentary today. I hope that you will look for some veterans in your life that you can honor today, that you can actually record an interview with them for yourself and for your family. And then also share those with us. Email them to us. Send us an email at radio@wallbuilders.com. If you have a veteran you'd like us to interview on the program, we'd be honored to be able to do that. What a special day. Don't forget your freedom is not free. There are so many that sacrifice so much for us, over 1.2 million that paid the ultimate price. They gave their one life so that we could be free. Don't take it for granted. Find a veteran and thank them today. Thank them for their service, but then thank them by living the freedom that they were willing to go die for. Think about it, folks. It's much more than just the sacrifice they made in the past. It's about what we do with it today. Are we living the freedom that they cared enough about that they were willing to give their life for it? I hope it'll be a challenge to you today. I hope you enjoyed today in our special Veterans Day program. Also yesterday, some of the interviews that we did. Both programs. Go to wallbuilderslive.com right now. Click on those links and share them with your friends and family. Thanks for listening today to WallBuilders Live.
We stand undivided.